We just got one. And it's a flip from one of the top programs in the SEC. Miami's defensive back class is getting stacked for 2026. From the 678 to the 305. Jontavius Wyman, welcome to the U.
You are Locked On Canes, your daily podcast on the Miami Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
There is nothing like a Saturday night bat signal and verbal commit to get us pumped up over the weekend. I am Alex Donno, University of Miami alumnus, co-host of Locked On ACC and writer for Canes County at Rivals. And thank you so much to the everydayers for making Locked On Canes your first listen and your first watch. We're available free wherever you get your podcasts. We're free on YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. On this episode, we'll talk about Miami's updated recruiting rankings in 2026. The Canes are moving on up, and there's a long way to go. We'll talk about what a strong defensive back class that Zach Etheridge and Will Harris are building through the recruiting trail. And the man of the hour tonight, my friends, Saturday evening, flips his commitment from the home state Georgia Bulldogs to the good guys down in Coral Gables. Jontavius Wyman, four-star cornerback, announced on Saturday evening he's going to be a Cane. 6 foot tall prospect, 170-pound corner out of Jonesboro, Georgia. So Miami literally snatches this dude right up from Dogs territory, and we're loving every second of it. He had been committed to Georgia since July 27th of last summer, so going on a year for that verbal commitment to UGA. Jontavius Wyman class, he's the, I should say, 17th ranked cornerback in the class of 2026. 4-star composite guy, big-time player. And we'll talk about the factors that, went into Wyman, in his own words, flipping from Georgia to Miami. And by the way, other programs involved, Florida State, Florida, we're trying to get involved there. USC, I remember seeing them involved. So for several programs that we're trying to flip that commitment of Wyman from UGA, Miami and their new strong duo of defensive backs coach were able to get that done. And this one, guys, I think most of the credit for this flip goes to Zach Etheridge specifically, Miami's new cornerbacks coach. Huge part in this one. Wyman's primary recruiter for the Hurricanes. Wyman recently checked out Miami for spring football. He also made a spring visit to Georgia, but I think he was really feeling the love and really feeling the fit at the University of Miami. I like this quote that Jontavius Wyman, right after flipping, he said this to Hayes Fawcett at On3 Sports, quote, "They say it's all about the U, and now so do I." So he's saying it as well. And some things also to know about Jontavius Wyman, and we'll have some scouting reports for you. Not only is this an excellent cornerback, and he's been recruited as a defensive back by Miami and most others, but Wyman is also an excellent wide receiver and special teams return man. So he could play some important roles in the future. And I know you don't see a whole lot of two-way players these days, but, Travis Hunter just did it and won Heisman. But it's worth noting that, even though Miami is slotting Wyman in as a cornerback, he's already said he's going to be lobbying to Kevin Beard, Miami's receivers coach, to get some snaps at wideout as well. Here's a couple scouting reports on the newest Miami Hurricanes verbal commit, Jontavius Wyman. This is from Rivals. Prototypical size for a corner with length and elite movement skills. Possesses top-end speed, suddenness, twitch, burst, and reactionary quickness. One of the best players and all-around athletes in the state of Georgia. His ability as a receiver and a returner on special teams makes him even more dangerous of a defensive player. His ball skills, that's a great point because he can catch, right? So his ball skills, they say the ability to make things happen with the ball in his hands makes him a unique prospect. He can change the game on any given play in any phase of the game. Here's a scouting report. I reached out to our pal, the recruiting overlord, Brian Smith. We've had Brian on so much. I'm like, I'll give you the night off, Brian, but you've got to send me your scouting report. And this is what Brian Smith, the recruiting overlord, says about Jontavius Wyman. Resourceful, he says. Wyman finds the football, best in off coverage and attacking the football and moving towards the line of scrimmage. Tremendous hands, he says. He is elite at breaking tackles whenever the football is in his hand. So, I know we're all thinking the same thing. This young man, when he gets to Miami, can get his hands on some interceptions. House calls, please. Let's take him the other way, my friend. Before the flip, when things were really starting to heat up recently, especially today, I think some folks maybe got some hints that Wyman could be flipping tonight from UGA to Miami. Georgia insider who runs the On3 Georgia Bulldogs site, Rusty Manziel, said it before the flip, quote, "You do not want to be head-to-head with Miami at the end," talking about that recruitment. Here's a couple of quotes from Jontavius Wyman as to, why he ultimately decided Miami was the spot. And spoiler alert, guys, when we talk recruiting here on Locked On Canes, one of the things that we emphasize most as to, why Mario Cristobal and his staff have been so successful in talent acquisition. It's all about relationships, building relationships, making these players feel loved, making these players feel wanted, and really clearly explaining what role you see for them in your schemes. And that was something, it sounds like Jontavius Wyman, I guess, has a lot more, clarity overall from Miami's coaches than he has from the others who have recruited him. Wyman told 24/7 Sports Inside the U, really liked the position to be able to go in there and compete for a starting job day one. He says, the coaches, they just always showed that they cared about me. They show that they want me. They're very interested, he said. On what separated Miami from Georgia and USC at the end of his recruitment. He talked about, Miami making him feel like a priority at every stage of the process. He said in January, one of the first places that Miami stopped was in Atlanta, his area, Jonesboro, in the Atlanta area, to see him play. He says it's big time, he says. Wyman was supposed to go to USC this weekend. He's canceled that trip. So, I don't know for sure if he's going to completely shut his recruitment down. I know we're a long way away from National Signing Day. We're talking December. We're a long way away, but at least, in the short term, he's shutting things down. We'll see if he does that in the long term. But he says, he shut down his visit to USC. He says, I feel like I can go in there, compete, earn a job, he said about Miami. I feel like I can be valuable to the team in many different ways. At this point now, I should be labeled as an athlete, he says. I feel like I can go in there and play any position they need me to play. I'm very coachable and respectful, Wyman says. And that's where he mentioned he's trying to get Kevin Beard to give him his offer as a wide receiver as well. So, all right, guys, when we come back, I want to tell you where Miami stands now, not only in defensive back recruiting, where, of course, we're seeing Zach Etheridge, who gets the big pat on the back for this one, and Will Harris, the excellent work that Miami's new secondary coaches are doing. But Miami's overall class of 2026, a couple weeks ago, the rankings weren't all that high for Miami. Understanding there's a long way to go, but Miami's been on a run of commitments lately. Ben Congdon, Javian Mallory, Joel Irvin, J.J. Sparks, Jontavius Wyman, and all of a sudden, Miami has really arrived when it comes to the class of 2026. We'll tell you what we mean. You want to keep it locked right here, my friends. We're only getting started on this brand new episode of Locked On Canes. This is a message from sponsor Intuit TurboTax. Taxes was waiting and wondering and worrying if you're going to get any money back, and then waiting, wondering, and worrying some more. Now Taxes is matching with a TurboTax expert who can do your taxes as soon as today. An expert who gives your taxes their undivided attention as they work on your return, while you get real-time updates on their progress so you can focus on your day. An expert who will find you every deduction possible and file every form, every investment, everything with 100% accuracy. Also, you can get the most money back guaranteed. No waiting, no wondering, and no worries. Now, this is Taxes. Get an expert now at TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live full service, real-time updates only in iOS mobile app. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees. We are also proudly brought to you by Monarch Money. You ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, entertainment, it's so easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and you start building wealth. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending and overspending on things like food delivery and all these vacations I've been taking to try to get verbal commits. Now I budget smarter and I save more. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, even plan long-term goals. It is so helpful. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code Locked On College for half off your first year. Thank you for making Locked On Canes your first listen and your first watch today, especially being with us here on a Saturday. I don't always have Saturday night verbal commit on my bingo card. I do plan on maybe doing an episode Sunday as well, because I already had something planned for tomorrow. But Jontavius Wyman, guys, we've been feeling good about this one in recent weeks. Things have been trending in Miami's direction for him. But for Wyman tonight, Saturday night, to decide he's flipping his commitment from Georgia to the U, this is huge, guys. I mean, this is a big-time SEC program who's in the young man's home state, home area. And I know it's not over yet. Still got to get to National Signing Day, but this is looking like a huge win for the University of Miami. And now, really, for the second straight recruiting cycle, because Miami landed some big-time defensive backs in 2025. Bryce Fitzgerald, Chris Ewald Jr., Amari Wallace, Jabari Antoine, a really good defensive back class of 2025. Hurricanes are doing it again in 2026, and, we're still a long way to go. There could be a couple more DBs who jump aboard this thing before the 2026 class is done. So, Miami adding, four-star cornerback / athlete. He says he wants to be known as an athlete. Jontavius Wyman, he joins four-star corner Jalen Seatbelt Waters, former Florida commit. Now, that one had, of course, Will Harris's fingerprints all over it. Harris had been his primary recruiter at Florida, and the two of them have a really special bond. So relationships, guys, again, relationships. And that's 2 out of the 3. Miami has also landed a verbal commitment from Hurricanes legacy and 19th ranked cornerback in the entire class of 2026, Congdon Portis. Congdon Portis is a big-time player. So, again, more work to do. Maybe Miami's going to look for some true safeties in this class of 2026. But when it comes to cornerbacks / athletes, they're hitting it out of the park so far, guys. They really are. And so you look at Miami's list of verbal commits now, you're up to 9. And, usually by the time your class is done, you're over 20. So we're less than halfway through this thing. Could be around 25 commits and signees by the time signing day rolls around. But, Miami has Jordan Campbell, 4-star linebacker out of Carroll City, committed. I mentioned Congdon Portis and Jalen Waters. Miami's got Darion Coleman as their stud quarterback committed. And congratulations to Darion Coleman. He received an invite to the Elite 11 finals, which is a big deal. I mean, that's top quarterback competition for high schoolers every single year, which tells you Elite 11 considers Darion Coleman to be one of the very best. And if you've noticed something, I know Coleman gets he recently earned a 4th star, which is huge because he was kind of sidled with the 3-star thing for a long time. Coleman is someone who I think has been a little bit underestimated and underappreciated because he doesn't have like the big time quarterback size. Like he's grown a little bit. He's up to 6'1" now. It was 5'11" like not too long ago. So he's getting bigger, but with not having that prototypical size, he's someone who I think gets slept on a little bit. But you've noticed, guys, because we've covered, Darion Coleman in recent months. Every single 7-on-7 he plays in, and he plays in a lot of them, every single camp and competition that he attends, he gets named MVP of everything he's involved with. We're good friends here on Locked On Canes with his quarterbacks coach, Balin Trujillo, who has said it to us that Darion Coleman has, and he's worked with some good ones, Trujillo, like Noah Grubbs, Notre Dame quarterback. And he says Darion Coleman has the best natural arm talent of any quarterback that he's coached. So congratulations to Darion for getting that Elite 11 finals invite. I hope you win the darn thing, man. I really do. I'm going to be rooting for you. Miami has landed a bunch of offensive linemen recently. Ben Congdon, big 6'7" offensive tackle out of Ohio. Joel Irvin, Joel Irvin was a nice addition out of Fort Myers. And J.J. Sparks, the center I think maybe I didn't. I feel like I may have mentioned this on a recent episode. Maybe I haven't. JJ Sparks is going to join us on Locked On Canes on Monday night. So if you want to hear from one of Miami's newest verbal commits, JJ Sparks, center out of the Bulls High School in Jacksonville, he's going to be joining us on Monday night on a special episode. You know, we love to track down Miami verbal commits when we can. And then some of them have been hard to track down. So let me tell you, if you're committed to Miami or you're thinking about committing to Miami and you're watching Locked On Canes right now, slide into my DMs, man. I'll have you guys on the show. Miami verbal commits or recruiting targets. I'd love to bring everybody on. So feel free to reach out anytime you want to. And Miami also landed Javian Mallory, 4-star running back out of West Boca Raton. And I think that's everybody. I think I covered all of them, with Jontavius Wyman being the newest one. And here's the good news. I talked about Miami, moving on up in the recruiting rankings. Hurricanes now have, by the 24/7 Sports composite rank, which averages out all the recruiting services, which is a good way to do it because a lot of the different services have, different rankings and stuff. So this one averages it out. Hurricanes now have a top 10 class nationally. 9th rated class of 2026, landed a flurry of commits, and Wyman, quality player, really helped bump up that average. So you're now looking at USC, who's been on a tear. They got 20 commits. They got more than double Miami. USC has the number 1 class. Dabo's doing his thing up in Clemson. They've got the number 2 class with 13 commits. That's more than Miami. Ohio State with the 3rd rated class, LSU at 4, Texas A&M at 5. Louisville is doing a good job right now at 6, Kansas at 7, Oregon at 8, Miami at 9, Penn State 10. Let me see if I can scroll far enough down to find the Gators. Hold on. Let me see. We're going to be here all night. I apologize, but I need to find Florida. So you got Syracuse at 11, Notre Dame 12, Tennessee 13, Illinois 14, Arkansas, Auburn, Florida State at number 17. It's respectable. Boston College. Wow, Bill O'Brien's got the top 20 class right now. Iowa State, Arizona State. Hold on. I think I got to click the show second page button to find Florida. I'm at the top 50. I got to load more. Let me see if I can find the Gators anywhere. Florida. Oh man, I don't think there's enough pages to compute this one, guys. So there's somewhere out there. Billy Napier, he's doing his thing, I guess. Number 40. That's not as bad as I thought, actually. I think I scrolled past it. So number 40. I apologize, Billy Napier. I thought you were in the 50s. Now, 40th rated class in the country for Florida right now. 17 for Florida State, 9 for Miami. But one thing you note is a long way to go. But you've got a few ACC teams, couple ACC teams that are ahead of Miami right now. The Hurricanes, I think in each of the past 3 cycles, at least the past 2, finished with the top recruiting class in the ACC. So that's obviously a goal. You want to win the state of Florida. Florida actually edged out Miami last year somehow, but Miami has had the top recruiting class in the ACC for the past several cycles. So we'll see if we can do that again. Oh, by the way, before we run, literally just received Larry Bluestein's scouting report on Jontavius Wyman. We read you Brian Smith's earlier. We read you the one from Rivals, which I think was from our guy, John Garcia, who, by the way, has anyone been watching this show long enough to remember when John Garcia used to be a weekly regular? I love that dude. He was our recruiting guy before the recruiting overload. I should start having them both on now. But Larry Bluestein says to me about Jontavius Wyman, dynamic playmaker who's versatile and can line up anywhere in the secondary, where he picked off 5 balls last year, and on the offensive side of the ball, catching 7 touchdowns. Also a big-time special teams player. Track athlete who not only brings skill to his game, but also speed. This is a special athlete who could play for any program in the country. Saw him last summer at Florida camp. Big-time potential. That's what Larry Bluestein says about Jontavius Wyman. So Wyman, welcome to the U. Thank you all so much for making Locked On Canes your first listen and your first watch today. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Make sure to subscribe to the audio version on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your pods. And we'll talk to you guys again next time on another episode of Locked On Canes. We're part of the awesome Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.